Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are now into the second full week of June, and we have been brand new in our new nursery business since April the 1st was our starting day. So however many weeks that makes, 9 or 10 weeks, one of those two, that we've been going wide open all day, every day, selling plants as much as we possibly can for a new business in a new location. And today we want to share with you guys kind of a state of the nursery, where we're going from here, and that we are really just about to be done with this for the season, and kind of what we think that means for us and what we do next. So we're looking forward to sharing this with you guys today. Thanks for being here, and let's get to it.
We have grown many of our own plants, but in addition to the ones that we have grown from propagation or buying in, we have also been going around to large wholesale nurseries just around in states around us, in cities around us, and buying in other plants to kind of flip quickly and sell and make a couple of bucks off of, because we ran short in the plants that we grew ourselves. So one of the reasons that we have closed for the summer is because these wholesale nurseries that we're going and buying plants from are running out of plants because the peak nursery season is winding down.
And kind of the idea behind us closing down, there's a couple of things. And when we say closing down, it's not like we're about to go on a European vacation for a month. I mean, here's the thing. We live in North Alabama, and it is very hot here. We're completely aware that the entire eastern United States is very hot and very dry, and the real hot plant selling season has passed. That was the month of April and the month of May, and once Memorial Day hit, it is pretty much shut off, and we understand that. I was glad that it lasted as long as it did. So that, coupled with it getting harder and harder for us to find plants ready to sell from wholesale nurseries, they're experiencing the same issues. Things are slowing down for them too. They've sold out of so many of their really nice varieties. There comes a time, at least for us in our first year, where we're trying to weigh, is it worth it to stay open for 30 or 50 hours a week versus sinking a lot more of those hours into propagating, growing plants, and really already starting to look forward towards the fall, the winter, and to next spring. So a decision that we've made is that we're going to close up for now. We're going to have a final clearance sale coming up this weekend and just kind of discount everything and really try to sell a lot more of our last plants, and really hope that that gives us a good springboard going forward from the end of this first selling season for us. Now, this being our first year doing this full time, this has really been, I mean, let's see, we're 5 full months into the year. We've been selling plants for a little bit over 2 full months. And this has all been a massive learning experience for our entire family. And, you know, some of the things that we've learned and we've been sharing with you guys as we go is like sourcing things and getting people to actually come to our location. We're not on a busy road at all. And Chloe, just a little while ago, I mean, like right before we started this video, you were telling me that something that you had learned was about the amount of plants that this takes. And what were you telling me about that? That might be useful for somebody to hear.
Well, I know that at the beginning of this year, I had in my mind thought that we had tons of plants, more plants than we'd ever had before,
and
ready
we did.
to sell.
And
we
did.
But like the first week or two went by, and all of a sudden we were seeing our back stocks of plants that we kept bringing out to the plant sale were getting low. And we're already, after like 2 weeks of being open, having to search around in the back shade houses and where we grow stuff out, trying to find plants that are fit for selling.
Yeah.
So I couldn't believe that it happened, first of all, so quickly, but that it really happened at all, because I had no concept of how many plants it would take to be open. And that is a really good thing, because we sold a lot more plants than I thought we would.
Yeah. So, and that's one thing that was a very good surprise, but it was a surprise that we had to figure out how to deal with. Was we did have way more plants than we'd ever had before, because we'd never tried to do this on anywhere near this scale before. And we also lost a ton of plants over winter that we don't normally lose over winter, because we had a terribly cold spell, and we had a weird spring with cold, and so we have more winter losses than we normally do too. But it's all been a huge learning experience for us. And you know, when it's around April the 15th and you've run out a whole lot of your
Yeah.
best plants, and it's April the 15th, you're just getting started good. So we had problems
Yeah.
early in the season just with keeping up with inventory and actually having things to sell.
I remember going into week 1 how nervous we all were because we'd never been open like this before, and how like overwhelmed we wound up being, or close to it, with the amount of people. That's the most surprising thing to me this year.
Yeah. And that brings us now to, here we are sitting in an empty shade house. Like over behind the camera, there's a couple of junk plants over there, and that's it. And this shade house is completely empty. And this is the very house, one of two, that we have had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people circling through here picking up plants. And we have now consolidated all of the plants over into one shade house, and we'll show you that in just a minute. And we are going to have one final sale Saturday morning only. And in my ad, on my Facebook ad for this sale, I've put as much urgency into it as I can without...
Daddy has a lot of fun writing these ads.
I do like writing.
They're pretty creative.
I do like writing the ads. Here's what we know is that it gets people here.
Yeah.
It gets people into our nursery.
Even if they're a little silly.
So, but they're truthful. I don't lie about what we have and what we don't have, and I don't promise people the moon. I just tell people what we have. So we're going to show you guys kind of what we have left, kind of how we've marked down some of these plants to try to get people to come and buy them, because we still have some really nice plants to be had and some good deals that people can walk away with, and we'll be glad to be on the giving end of those deals. I mean, we've done really well this spring for us, our first year, and one way we think we can kind of thank our customers for that is by having a clearance sale from them, because this is going to be a lot of the same people coming back for the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th time.
Or 10th.
Or the 10th time. That's true.
We know them by name now.
So,
it's the funniest
which
thing.
is wonderful.
Yeah.
So this is kind of where we are, and we want to show you guys what we have in our one shade house clearance sale coming up for tomorrow. So we're over in our shade house here, and this is our 20 by 40 shade house, and this is all we're going to have for sale on this one Saturday morning sale. And I just want to show you guys a little bit of what we have left. Now, these are triple crown blackberries here. These actually just got ready to sell. We haven't had but a few of these ready. They were late coming out, but we've got a good batch of them to sell. I think they'll sell very well. This is just a lot of our plants that you guys have seen over and over again, but we still have some left. And Chloe, did you want to say anything about these hostas? There's some in the middle, some over here.
Yeah, it's just that since we've marked down a lot of this stuff to clearance, it kind of makes it sound like we're not making any money on the plants, or at least not much. But a lot of these plants we don't have any money in, because we grew a lot of them from cuttings, whether that be the hostas that we divided, or especially the hydrangeas, a bunch of the hydrangeas in here that we grew completely from cutting, so there's absolutely no money in them.
And that's 60.
So you can sell them for $6 and still be making money, even though it's not quite as much as we've been making all year, because we have no money in them. That's the great part about growing your own plants.
And we still have, I don't know, 60 or something.
Yeah, and they look good.
Silver dollar hydrangeas over here, and our sale price on them is going to be $6.97, and people are going to get to steal them from us for that, and we're happy to let people do that. And we just need to get rid of them. They're great plants, but we don't need to keep them. So that's one of the plants that will be really good in our sale. Moving down this way a little bit, there's just some perennial stuff that's left over. So we have some Veronicas right here that are called Red Fox. This is an awesome variety of plant. Now, what you have to remember is, you know, a lot of plants that we sell, and that doesn't necessarily look like much. It looks like a clump of grass or a weed or something, but you know, that's why we use these, you know, colored signs with a picture down here. You can see this with a description to show people what they're going to ultimately wind up looking like. And you know, that really helps people make knowledgeable decisions about what they're buying, and it shows them a picture, and sometimes that picture sells the plant. So you know, you want to have good picture cards with your plants. We have one right here. It's called a gold crest. It's a coreopsis. These are just starting to bud and bloom. I don't think there'll be any trouble selling those. Right here, what are those, Chloe? You know what those are.
Annabelle hydrangeas, another thing we propagated.
Yeah, those Annabelle.
Those are super easy.
Annabelle hydrangeas. There's a reason why we propagate so many of them. People love to buy them. We've got some red hot pokers still left over here. This has been one of our best sellers this spring. We've got some Japanese holly ferns over there, and guys, y'all can just kind of look around in here and just see. I mean, we've got quite a few things left. And yeah, it's kind of clearance looking, and we're a little bit picked over to some degree. We know that, but we want to offer this last sale. We're glad to do it, and we need to get rid of some plants before we really get into summer work mode and get into propagation mode and really start focusing hard on growing out more and more and more plants for next summer. But we've got to start doing that now, and we can't wait until next February or March to start figuring out our plant situation for next spring. So we're going to sell all we can. We'll be open periodically through the summer on a Saturday or something if we've got some nice plants to sell, but our hot selling season is over. We know that it's over, and we're looking forward to moving on.
One of the things I've certainly learned this year, and something that you guys might have noticed, is that all of the plants we have for sale, or at least basically all of them, are in generally small pots. The reason for this being that our customers, at least the people that come and buy plants from us, do not like to dig big holes. They don't like to dig any bigger hole than they need to. So one of the things we've been doing is thinking about getting plants in small pots, which for us is like a trade gallon pot is our standard size, and having a lower price on them as opposed to growing the plants out for another year and selling them at a larger price. But something that we have done is a couple of times gotten like 2 sizes of a plant that is the same variety. Like in front of me, I've got 2 penstemons. This penstemon is in a 3-gallon pot, and that penstemon is in a trade gallon pot. And the reason we have both of them, or at least one reason, is that the larger penstemon sometimes will sell the smaller one. If people come through and look at this plant and they think, oh, that's pretty, but they don't want to dig the hole for it, a lot of the times they'll buy the smaller one because they can see what it will turn into. And then that's just a 3-gallon shrub that we have out there, but that's one of our fewer sellers because it's in a larger pot. So that's something I've observed this year that was interesting.
So guys, that's where we are right now in our first year. Kind of an update for you to show you how far we've come, how far we have to go, and all of our attention now is on growing plants out for next year and maybe even some later this year. We're just going to have to see how fast they grow, and if we think we can get some things big enough, nice enough, well enough rooted this year, then we'll try to sell some more plants this year. But we're just going to have to see how all of that goes. But like always, we do appreciate you guys joining us every week for our videos. I love y'all, and we'll see you on the next one.